Today we're simulating the 6-8 $15 low roller. This strategy is unique in that it only requires an investment of $40 per shooter. We'll first review the strategy, then run it for 100,000 sessions, and lastly, we'll analyze the results to find out how much you might win or lose. This strategy comes from Marco's Oh Craps page, which I'll link to in the description, and this is how it works. First, we'll wait for a point to be established, and then we'll place the 6 and 8 for $18 each, which is an initial outlay of $36. Once either hits, we'll toss in $3 and press the 6 and 8 to $30 each. When either hits again, we'll toss in another dollar and use the winnings to place $96 across. Everything stays up for 5 more hits. When the numbers do hit, we'll do a full press. That will raise the bet by as much of the win as possible while still keeping it a proper bet. After 5 hits, we'll take everything down and restart the system. Let's demonstrate with a few throws of the dice. Right off the bat, the shooter sets a point of 9, and it's time to place the 6 and 8. Easy 4 does not affect us. We get our first hit with the hard 8 and move to step 3. Our investment is now $39. The yo does not affect us. The hard 6 wins us $35, and it's time to place 96 across. Our investment for this shooter is now maxed at $40. The 5 wins $21, so we'll do a full press to $35 and pocket $1 change. The hard 4 pays $27, so we'll do a full press to $40. And we'll do the same with the hard 10. That's 3 hits so far. And the shooter hit the point of 9. That's the 4th hit for us. Our bets won't be working until the shooter sets another point, so we'll wait for that before pressing the 9. The point is 4. Let's get back on that 9. Now we're looking for just one more hit before restarting the system. And there it is with the easy 6. Let's collect and restart the system. Unfortunately, there's a quick 7 out, but we did really well on this shooter. We ended with $137 after an investment of only $40. Well, that's how the system works. Now let's see what it's really capable of. I'll simulate 100,000 sessions of 10 shooters per session. Alright, the simulation is completed. It threw the dice 8.5 million times, which is an average of 85 throws per session. The total bet was $126 million, with $68 million won and $72 million lost. The house took almost $3.5 million, and that leads to an overall house edge of 2.7%. Now let's see how this strategy performs. First, we'll look at the data on a per shooter basis. This strategy won money on 12.8% of the shooters, and the losers went right off the screen. That's not a huge surprise if you think about it. With all those full presses, it takes quite a few hits before you collect your winnings. Let's see how much these simulated players won or lost on each shooter. The most lost for any single shooter was $40. The most won was $26.69. Here's the histogram. The bins here are $250 wide. There's a vast majority that lost $36, $39, or $40, even though the bin spans beyond that. But what I found interesting is the widespread of that 13% that won. Of course, the majority of those are smaller winnings. 10% were up by less than $250, with another small group winning up to $500. But a very small group was spread over a couple $1,000s won. And remember, this is for a single shooter. Our simulated players stayed for 10 shooters. Let's see how they did over the entire session. Here the statistics are starting to look a little better. Over 42% won, while almost 58% lost money during their session. That's quite a change from the per shooter results, mainly because most of the money won comes from just a few of those hot rolls. Now let's see how much they won or lost. The most lost was $396, and the most won was $2,890. Here's the histogram. The bins here are still $250 wide. About a third of the time the players lost up to $250. 57% ended between plus and minus $250. And over 90% are at plus and minus $500. For this strategy, the necessary bankroll is pretty evident. At $40 per shooter, you'll likely need $400 to survive for 10 shooters. This is a chart of each player's bankroll at its worst during the session. A small number of players never fell below zero. These are the players that had a great shooter right off the bat. Almost half the players never fell below $200. And as we know, all of them never fell below $400. Let's look at the report card. We simulated 100,000 sessions of 10 shooters each. The overall house edge was 2.7%. Over 42% of the sessions ended with the player winning some money, while almost 58% lost. The middle 50% of outcomes ranged between a loss of $357 to a win of $115. The middle 90% of outcomes ranged from a loss of $372 to a win of $378. And players with a bankroll of $382 survived 10 shooters in 99% of the sessions. Let me know in the comments what you think of this strategy. Is this something that you would play when you're in the casino? If you want to see another strategy that has a low investment and rare but impressive wins, check out my video on the double boxcars here. Thanks for watching, and good luck at the tables.